The extraordinary life of Tycho Brahe, astronomer, nobleman, and controversial figure. Movie camera. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of Tycho Brahe, a man who was as much a nobleman as he was a groundbreaking astronomer. If you've ever looked up at the stars and wondered about their secrets, you're not alone, and Tycho is one of those people who paved the way to help us understand them better. So, let's start at the beginning. Tycho Brahe was born in 1546 into a noble family in Denmark. His family had quite the dynasty, but here's where it gets interesting. When he was just a baby, his uncle, George, who had no children of his own, wanted to adopt him. Imagine negotiating your own adoption. Tycho's parents initially agreed, but when their firstborn showed up, things got a bit messy, and they decided to keep him. But, not long after, Tycho ended up living with his uncle, who apparently had a soft spot for him. Wild, right? Books fast forward a bit, and young Tycho entered the University of Copenhagen at the ripe age of 13. Now, you might be thinking, wow, he must have been some sort of genius. Well, not really. Back then, people started university much earlier, and the education was pretty basic. What caught Tycho's eye were the stars. He was blown away by a solar eclipse in 1560, which lit a spark in him. He wanted to know more about the universe, but his uncle was pushing him towards more practical studies, like law. Talk about a plot twist. Milky Way. Despite the pressure, Tycho held his ground and ended up studying at Leipzig University. And let me tell you, he didn't waste any time. He secretly went about gathering astronomical books and dropped everything else to focus on the cosmos. His determination led him to understand how existing charts didn't quite add up, and he was committed to fixing that. Crescent moon. One of Tycho's first big moments was during a lunar eclipse in 1566. He made careful observations that blew people's minds. He realized that many of the positions of celestial bodies claimed by earlier astronomers were off. Armed with makeshift tools, like a simple cross staff, he set out to measure the stars. It wasn't fancy, but hey, it worked. Crossed swords. Now, Tycho wasn't just known for his brains, he had a bit of a wild side, too. There was this notorious duel with another nobleman over, you guessed it, mathematics. It ended tragically for Tycho, resulting in him losing part of his nose. But here's where it gets creative. He fashioned a gold and silver prosthetic that everyone said looked pretty great, better than his original, in fact. Castle. After all this, the King of Denmark saw Tycho's talent and wanted to keep him around. So, he gave Tycho the island of Aachen and the chance to build an observatory, which he named Uraniborg. This place wasn't just any old lab, it was like a scientific palace. Tycho set up some of the most advanced instruments of his time, including this massive mural quadrant, which allowed for super accurate observations. Talk about turning dreams into reality. Telescope. As Tycho worked at Uraniborg, he drew in students eager to learn from the master. For 20 years, he became a pioneer, documenting the positions of the moon, planets, and stars with precision. His meticulous records paved the way for future astronomers and laid the groundwork for modern astronomy. Not only was he making discoveries in the sky, he was also nurturing the next generation of stargazers. Hourglass. But not all was well in Tycho's world. Political shifts meant that royal support began to fade. The new king cut funding and resources, leaving Tycho feeling abandoned. He eventually left Aachen and moved to Bohemia, where he continued his work until his untimely death in 1601. Sparkles. So, there you have it. Tycho Brahe, a brilliant mind, a nobleman with a flair for drama, and a larger-than-life character in the history of astronomy. His bold moves and passion for the stars helped change the way we see the night sky. He showed us that with curiosity, creativity, and a little bit of tenacity, we can make great discoveries, whether through science or in our everyday lives. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. What part of Tycho's life fascinated you the most? Let me know in the comments below. Milky Way speech balloon.